Hey everyone, and welcome to a devlog for my senior Capstone experience JRPG game, Magical Girl Saga. My name is Destiny, and in this video I just want to give a brief overview of the dialogue system in Magical Girl Saga, and how I figured out its complexity, and how I came up with a system that allowed for things such as multiple dialogue sets and letter-by-letter scrolling text. So without further ado, let's dive right into today's video. Okay, so here is the script that I came up with for the dialogue window, which as you can see extends from the Node 2D class. And we have things that are defined up here. We have an entity, because as you can see, things like the chess and the NPCs all extend from a base entity class, which looks something like this, where it extends from a character body 2D, and it has attributes. As you can see, it has a 2D array of size 2020 for dialogue, and it also uses a dialogue index and a dialogue set. So what the dialogue set allows us to do is it allows us to, let's say, here's the dialogue for our NPC Kylie. So with the dialogue, we can set dialogue set 0, which is the first set of dialogue, and we can set each index in each set of dialogue to a different line of dialogue. So that way when the dialogue plays, it will show each line letter by letter, and it will also increase the dialogue index by 1, which allows for us to show the next line of dialogue. Now, if we go into the chess class, we can see that the default for when the chest is empty, as you can see, its dialogue set is set to 1, while the dialogue index is 0. So what this allows us to do is it allows us to set different sets of dialogue. So here is the dialogue for when you obtain an item from a chest. So when you obtain an item from the chest, it plays dialogue set 0, dialogue index 0, and it will play the you gotta item name plus an exclamation point. And this is the first line of dialogue, and then we can make it so that it will play the next set of dialogue, which will play after the chest is open. So if it's no longer open, obviously if it's set to false, then we open the chest, and if it is open and set to true, then we want to play the new set of dialogue. So how the dialogue system works is, as you can see in the process method of Godot 4, we have if input dot is action just press UI interact, which in this case is mapped to the enter key. If the string is null at the entity's dialogue set and the entity's dialogue index, it will increase the dialogue set by 1, and it will reset the dialogue index to 0, else it will increase the dialogue index by 1. And it will also clear each line of dialogue and start drawing the new dialogue. And we do that down here. So here's draw dialogue. As you can see, we have the dialogue box, which will allow us to grab the window. We have dialogue text, which is the rich text label right here. And then we have a timer for the character by character, so that way when the timer goes off, it will draw the next character in the sequence. And then we have an audio player because we want it to make a sound whenever the letters are drawn to the screen. We have entity E from earlier, which equals a collide of bodies, so that way you know which entity is currently being collided with, so the right set of dialogue will play. And as you can see, we have current dialogue, which when draw dialogue is called, current dialogue will be set to the entity E's dialogue of dialogue set and dialogue index. So it's current dialogue set and current dialogue index. And then if current dialogue equals null, or does not equal null, and current dialogue does not equal blank, then the dialogue box will show up, the UI will become invisible, and is talking we set to true, the combined text blanks out, and then we have the characters, which we take the e.dialogues, I didn't mean to do that, we take e.dialogues, e.dialogue set, e.dialogue index, and we convert it to a char array, and then we have a for loop, which sets char index to 0, char index of less than characters.length, char index ++. We start the timer for 0.025 seconds, and then we make our combined text go from blank, and we add a character at char index to this character's array. So then the current dialogue, we set it to combined text, and dialogue text.text, the rich text label, will become the combined text. And we also set is dialogue finished drawing equal to false, so that way it will continue to draw the dialogue. And then if it's true, it will clear the dialogue, and is talking will then equal false. So then let's go on to the clear dialogue. As you can see, clear dialogue gets rid of the dialogue box, resets the UI, resets current dialogue to blank, resets dialogue text.text to blank, resets the char index to 0, resets combined text to 0, and makes dialogue text.visible characters equal 0. And then with the timer is where things get interesting, as we do dialogue text.visible characters plus plus, so every time the timer times out, it will show a character on the screen. And if the talk sound does not equal null, it will play the talk sound. And if the dialogue text.visible characters is greater than or equal to char array characters.length, the timer will stop. Dialogue text.visible characters equals -1, which by setting it to -1, it means that it will show all the text instead of showing nothing at all. And the audio player will stop playing the talk sound. So let's see how this is shown in, I'm going to lower the desktop volume here. And we are going to see how this plays out. So if I come here, ignore the UI for now, it's still a work in progress. If I go to the chest, as you can see, it plays the first set of dialogue found at dialogue 00 for the chest, and that's what you got a red potion. But if I try to interact with the chest again, it will play dialogue 10, which is the first set of dialogue at index 0. So then this allows us to come talk to the NPC. So the NPC is set to dialogue 0, index 0. Then we go dialogue 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. And so that's the idea of how this dialogue system works. And I think it's pretty unique that the dialogue draws character by character, because normally, like, Godot doesn't have any built-in functions for dialogue. So there are plugins, like as you can see up here, I was originally messing around with a plugin for dialogue, and I couldn't really get it to work the way I wanted it to. And people online, they'll do like all kinds of different things with the dialogue, but this is the method that I found works for me. And so this is the method that I went with. And yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty unique that my solution for drawing character by character text, I actually did this based on a Java version I made. I originally made this game in Java as part of a tutorial series by RyiSnow, and I'll leave his channel in the description. And he had something similar for his dialogue, where it would draw character by character. So I kind of took that and modified it to work with Godot and C#, and I'm really pleased with the results. So, yeah, I think that's about it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all next time.